As with 2011, during 2012 I endeavoured to get one new album a month in order to bulk out my sadly limited music collection. Much like with 2011 though, I certainly lucked out as there were several albums by artists that I enjoy listening to out and ready to buy. Anyway, here's what I got and what I thought of them. This is one of those albums that isn't terrible in moderation. Oh, I'm certain if you're a fan of solo heavy power metal then you'd love it, but for me, all the tracks seem to blur into one, and the occasional bit of death metal grunting really didn't work for me in the slightest. Frankly, this album is worth the asking price for track 34. I mean, the whole album is the sort of synth-heavy sci-fi music that I absolutely love. I mean, another good example would be the Dune motion picture soundtrack. And as for M4 Part 2, it's the theoretical theme song to my all-time favourite film or TV show, being as it is incredibly epic and utterly awesome. As an aside, one of my first purchases of 2013 will be something from Fonts, the people who did track 34. Now, I remembered these guys from the Crazy Taxi soundtrack, so I thought, hey, let's give them a proper punt. Overall, the album is very good, with the exception of two tracks that seemed hell-bent on fucking it all up. I mean, one of them, Cruising California, wasn't abysmal, it just wasn't my cup of tea. But the other, OC Guns, it is so bad, I think it might actually be a piss take or a parody that I'm not actually smart or informed enough to get. Oh, where did it all go wrong? I honestly think that Bat Out of Hell 3 should have been a graceful farewell for Meatloaf. I mean, Hank Teddy Bear isn't bad, but going back to any of the Bats, or to Welcome to the Neighbourhood, or Couldn't Have Said It Better, I mean, it really is like night and day, with Meat's new stuff being grossly inferior to his old stuff. And frankly, the reason I'm talking about those albums and not this album is that Hell in a Handbasket left so little of an impression on me, I can't actually remember a single damn track. Oh. A suggestion from DestructionSnakePit. This album is fun. I wish I could say more, but that really does sum it up nicely. It's fun, entertaining, and there's not a track that I disliked. I mean, I'll definitely be checking out their back catalogue in the coming year, that's for certain. I've never really considered myself much of a purist. I mean, certainly not with regards to music. I mean, I worked with a guy who liked Nightwish, but hated Once, whilst Once is the album that got me into Nightwish in the first place. But, well, this is the weakest Nightwish album. I mean, there are some very good tracks here, and Annette most certainly has a good voice. But, overall, I don't know, something about it just didn't feel right. Track 4 wouldn't have been out of place on a jazz album, and track 12 ends with 6 minutes of spoken dialogue, which got real dull real fast. A suggestion from BiffaTW. These guys do similar stuff to Two Steps from Hell. Whilst I must say that I do prefer what I've heard from Two Steps, this is nevertheless a solid showing with some nicely epic tracks, and I will certainly be checking out some more of their stuff in the coming year. Me and popular music, well, we have this little understanding. It will carry on regardless, and I'll just look on utterly perplexed. Much like with Hollywood and originality, rarely do we meet. But this, oh Smeg, what an album this is. I mean, it is, without a doubt, stunning. I mean, I've listened to this album more over the course of 2012 than anything else I bought that year, or indeed the year before, or quite probably ever. Before Revamp, there was After Forever. Now, one thing I didn't like about this album, and again this is a taste thing, was the amount of death metal grunting that was in it. I mean, it's just not my thing. But nevertheless, Floor Jansen is truly excellent, and Energize Me is battling with iron as the most unrelentingly entertaining track that I've ever listened to. To understand why the D are the greatest band in the world, you really need to see them live. But failing that, grab this. I mean, from the incredible title track all the way to 39, one of the greatest love songs of all time, I might add. This is truly an album for the ages. Long live the D! Okay, this one is a little bit of a cheat, seeing as it's a free album, although surprisingly annoying to track down. The tracks are all based on the science fiction show Andromeda. The biggest mistake they made wasn't getting rid of Robert Hewitt-Wolf in Season 2, quite honestly. I mean, there was some truly epic stuff being set up, all pissed away, but I digress. The album as a whole is brilliant. Now, I doubly cheated with this, actually, in that I added in a few tracks not part of the album as presented, and these tracks can be found on YouTube, and there's a linky to both the album and the channel where you can find those tracks in the description. This being the case, the best track is the High Guard Battle March. I mean, it's a riff on the opening theme from Season 1, and it still gives me goosebumps. I mean, check it out, because Andromeda fan or not, it is well worth your time. I'd be lying if I said that this was as good as Lungs, but I think that's more to do with the fact that Lungs was like nothing I'd heard before, rather than diminishing quality. I mean, this is, without a doubt, a very good album, and most definitely a worthy follow-up. 12 months, 12 albums. For me, that's pretty damn good, given how much I tend to and ah about any purchase, big or small. I mean, seriously, it once took me nearly an hour to pick 3 films in a 3 for £20 deal. Compared to 2011, there were far fewer misses, although the duds I did get damn near broke my heart. Still, I'm looking forward to what I stumble across in 2013.